GM, let's wait for Skew.
GM, again, good to see you. Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Yeah, good to hear from you.
Perfect. How was your experience in the forest? I was trying to keep track. It was fascinating to see your
Yeah, so I
experience.
decided to go long Monday morning for Fartcoin, and it was the right bet, but I did, like, long story short, all in with high leverage, and I got liquidated. And the
Oh
worst
my
part is,
god.
like, the thinking was correct, the thought process was correct, but yeah, no risk management, and I had to play with such a fire and such a fire, because otherwise I would haven't had any chances to actually, like, 10x my capital. So yeah, if I wasn't liquidated, like, by Monday evening, I would be sitting at like $400, or Tuesday morning 400, maybe even 500, if I was rotating profits into that long. But yeah, anyway, like, it was a good experience. I was able to build a shelter, to
Yep.
um, yeah, GM to set a fire, to eat.
GM.
Yeah, it was fun.
No, I think that's something everyone should experience someday.
Yeah, so the thing he built, he did that by hand as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and Cantina did pretty good job. Like, the consensus there was very correct about the market. Yeah, as I said, as long as I would kept my leverage lower, I would be fine, because I was liquidated like pick a bottom on Farcan, like 86 cents.
Yeah, that dude, that's kind of funny. I remember you, like, DMing
Yeah,
me,
but
and I was actually about to say, like, Bitcoin looks good.
yeah, like, I went long, and usually, like, I can stomach such volatility on my position, because my entry was like 91 cents, I believe,
Yeah,
uh, or 90 cents. So, like, in the evening, it was like one. Next morning, it was 1.4, 1.0408, something like that. So yeah, the thinking was correct. Just, the high leverage that I don't have experience with, because usually when I trade with leverage is like 2x, 3x, 4x maximum. Uh,
oh,
yeah, but
really?
anyway, yeah. I don't like high leverage.
It depends. You need to manage your risk, right? So that's always comes down to your, what, how big move you are aiming for.
Yeah, because I'm not really good in, like, sniper sniper entries. Usually, I average the in and out pretty badly. I mean, pretty frequently. So I start to spot with a few small orders, and then size up uh, when I think it's the right moment. Yeah. So that's how usually I perform. But it was fun. Like, we had a few funny stories on the stream, and the recap video is being made. I would definitely share it with you guys. And
Yeah,
yeah,
can't wait to see that. Yeah.
yeah. Like, probably the moment I was liquidated is the most memorable thing I've ever did, because I was quite bored. I was sitting on the ground, and I was, like, creating a crown of flowers, and I just finished that. I put it on my head, and I discovered that I got liquidated. Yeah,
How was the weather? How
yeah, it was pretty cold in night. It was like 8 degrees, uh, but during the day it was pretty good.
Not
Not
bad.
too warm, cold.
But about 8 to 6 Celsius. Celsius is like the lows we get during winter, at least here.
Yeah, but your place is slightly different than mine. Yeah, but
True.
it was my first time when I went to the part of Poland. Like, it was on the border with Belarus, and there's absolutely no people. Like, I felt like, I got back to 19th century, which was kind of funny. Yeah,
19th
okay.
century.
I think it's time to get into the charts. Yeah.
True. I just brought up Farcoin because I mean, like you were trying to position around here, right?
I got
Like
position
roughly.
at 91 cents on the range, on the small range, on
And like
the
this.
weekly open, and then on the dump it liquidated me, I think. But it, yeah,
On this
something
dump?
like that. But yeah, but I don't
Damn,
think
bro.
this is the correct chart. I think the bottom was 85 cents. Let me check other chart. It's Coinbase.
I mean, Coinbase typically trades a little bit higher than Binance.
Let me check. Oh, actually, yeah, 83 cents. Let me check what price I was liquidated on, because maybe I'm just wrong.
I mean, it's still 42%. Like, call it 40% or so bounce. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
What's also crazy, it's technically speaking, it's like lower, and then this is probably lower high as well. It's like right now, it kind of looks like potential downtrend for Farcoin. Like initial high, low high, low high. That was the first low, below that one. Now we have another lower low. Yeah. Yeah, I don't particularly like Farcoin at the moment, at least here.
Yeah, so I enter at 90. I'm not sure. Wait a second. Yeah, so
Like
I was
90,
liquidated
basically.
at 80, 85, and I entered the trade in 92. 89 and 92 in this range, and I got liquidated at 85.8. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
like
check
it would
the
have been this
history.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
So maybe
that's
not
crazy.
not exactly the bottom, but yeah.
I mean, close enough.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
But at least I tested the maximum leverage on WolfEye Pro. Never had a chance to use that before. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because I know like I could stomach the dump, and if I wasn't liquidated, I would actually like keep the position at least until $1. And I could actually there were some odds that I would actually 10x the capital, because then like with
Yeah.
$400 or $500 I just put all on red and I got the or black, and I got my win.
Right. Do they
Yeah.
have?
Abstract is kind of, there's quite a bit of gambling websites.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's basically just like a better kick.
Yes.
Okay,
what are we thinking about BTC maybe, or if?
well, I
Because
want to bring up one thing. Where was it?
I'm a little bit worried that TradFi is so strong, like S&P 500 at all-time high today.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
I have
one
my
important
I have my
detail. So, like, equities look strong, right? It is quote unquote strong, right? But if you actually look under the hood at the breadth of the market, it actually isn't good. At all. It doesn't look how do I say, like, sustainable in terms of like a yearly trend, like a trend that can last a long period of time. It's more so the market being heavily short USD, which typically means when they are really, really short USD, they become very long on equities. It's the same trade they applied to the yen. The same that's being applied to the Israeli market. Short currency, long equities. But yeah, if you want to like degen 100x like longing and whatnot, like this is basically a trend you want. Just vertical up. That was after the election.
Yeah, got it. Also, my thesis why stocks are so strong and crypto is so weak. So first of all, like USD is very weak currently, so
Yeah.
those are much cheaper for foreigners country. Yeah, you know, people who are not US based.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, and also most of these companies make like half of their revenue or so in other currencies. So if euro is strong now and Apple is selling iPhones also in Europe and in China and USD is weak, they make way more profit in USD, which boosts their revenue. So that's one thing, and the other one is I feel like with such a strong TradFi market and so many companies that I actually rally, crypto isn't that sexy anymore because they can get those crazy gains on in the traditional market, which is way more familiar for
Yeah,
them.
like I'm pretty sure the Nasdaq trade is being like this chart tells you it's being chased. That this kind of price action is basically just people positioning into the market expecting much higher.
Yeah,
Like,
but then
previous times that we've seen is like down here.
yeah, but hey guys, we lost the correlation with TradFi. So finally, yeah.
I mean, it's probably temporary.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
BTC's had like, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I'll get rid of this. Like, I mean, you're joking, but it's also kind of true. Like, for prices to go flat like this while equity rips is kind of inconvenient, I would say. But yeah, more importantly, what led this price action was probably Palm's TWAP, like his company, which is basically, well, company LLC, whatever they want to call themselves, really. They're copying the same game and business plan as MicroStrategy, which like a dozen other people are copying at the same time. The whole Bitcoin yield. So we're going to see a lot of like price action like this probably throughout 2025, 2026 ish.
Sent you a quick link, Skew, on Discord. Far side where they started to track the Bitcoin treasury companies. And yeah, I do agree. That was like, on an hourly chart, it was like purely an algo driven upward sloping accumulation. Clearly, it's you can just see by routine your eyes.
This is not a bad table, actually.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I forget exactly what his company's called, but they acquired something like 400 to 500 mil worth of Bitcoin. And they were like the primary cause of basically this week's upward PA. I mean, that being said, though, it provides quite a likely. Man, I won't say likely. I'm not exactly sure if we actually do run this because the market tends not to do exactly what you want, right? But say, if we do get some kind of bleed back down, seeing some kind of like trap set up like that would be sweet. Like especially into current range PSC, the PSC would probably lead a little bit higher towards like 104 ish. That would be as well like really good confluence. as well as we have main trend as well that is picking up around like 105 area. You know, I might actually leave that, see if it plays out. So ETH has remained really strong.
Yeah, I'm quite bullish on ETH.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's always be careful what you're saying about ETH. But yeah, this time I think we've said this many times. This might be the time to be like really constructive about ETH. I do agree. For the first time after quite a
I
while.
mean, probably, trading above monthly open would be ideal, but I'm quite surprised with its strength. I know in the past 2 years, every time ETH was strong, we were dumping, but yeah, I mean,
that's pretty true. But yeah, I mean, like clearly here, so like the blue line, right? That's basically your range low. This is like the big range, right? And then obviously you have the mid range or the POC, which is very important. We've consistently rejected that, failed to swing higher, and then nuked. So what the market's actually done is have taken liquidity from both the top side of the book and the bottom side of the book, so the bids and the asks, and that's like perfect if you want to clear out an order book before a massive move. So essentially from here, right, we want to see price continue to grind higher. More importantly, it needs to be driven by Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs to break 108, okay, in my opinion, for alts to get like a consistently strong bid that lasts more than like 4 hours. I would say something like that. You have like quite a defined, I guess, curvature with the uptrend. More so important because of like with alts, ETH especially, I would say, and like Sol, they're all momentum driven assets, right? So when the momentum's there, you basically take advantage of it. And a lot of traders as well don't typically chase them unless they have that momentum, right? Currently, we have strength, quote unquote, right? But we don't really have that momentum until Bitcoin actually breaks out of 108K.
I think we have pretty clean levels, right? At least throughout this week. So we've had that dip after, or yeah, right before the ceasefire announcement, I guess. And yeah, I mean, probably the same playbook for the weekend could really very much on the table, right? So if BTC produces like a nice Friday session, manages to hold above like 105.5, that's the pivot I'm looking at, then yeah, odds could have a nice weekend again, I believe. But yeah, I mean, 108 is the level to flip from here. And as it's gearing up, to me it seems like that BTC is like really heading for that I don't know, 110 liquidity from here.
Yeah. Interesting. So wait, did you see this earlier? I mean, this like candle here and OI and CFD obviously and funding, right? That's like a massive short. That was 2K, right? That's basically closed out now from what I can see. And price seems to be holding this range roughly.
Which is telling, right? So if it's unable to break, I didn't
expect that.
Yeah. So I was trading that yesterday. Today probably I'm going to be less active in terms of trading. I think we might not see the desired volatility. But yeah, that short pre-session yesterday, that what you just showed or pointed out, I was exploiting that actually. So first it got pushed back, but then it went down to grab the liquidity at the 1 hour 50 EMA. That was a prime target, and there was a really strong reaction on the second half of the session. So I caught that move, and yeah, that made me pretty good profit yesterday during the session.
Interesting.
Because again, just another small hint how I used to play this. So when you've got a nice, fast 1 hour trend, you could, spot it out by either the 12 or the 12 and 21 EMAs or some fast EMAs. And if that gets respected for like multiple days, usually when it breaks down, or usually when it goes down to sweep the 50 EMA on hourly, that will produce either a new high but a strong reaction. So that's usually a good strategy.
I mean, it does work. I've tried it before. These classes of asks as well keep moving closer to price. That's where you get like these like kind of volatile nukes. Someone's trying to push price lower consistently. So it's like there was not a lot, but like, a K or two Bitcoin sold into price here and into price here. Except price isn't like falling off a cliff, which is interesting. It still doesn't look like obviously bullish per se or like strong yet, but I mean potentially the whole thing of ball underwater. That could be the perfect analogy here. As well as I don't see like this is all just shorts closing here. Like, but barely any longs.
I was looking at, on low time frame on Velo from about 7 UTC, I guess, when it grabbed or swept 106 liquidity. And then there was like someone closing out on spot and at the same time also unwinding their shorts. So it was like, again, a pretty coordinated offloading in such a tight range, right? Where they can easily do this without crashing the price, causing significant slippage.
Yeah, I posted a container actually. I think it was around this low. Someone kept trying to drive price low, but it was really clear that someone kept quoting specifically 106,500, right?
Yeah.
Then they got filled, and when that happened, like immediately closed the hedge. Very interesting. But yeah, anyway, like 108 is going to be like 108 to 109 is going to be a lot for the market to crack. I think it's going to require a ton of buying, like similar to what we saw around like the ETF launch. So you essentially need probably billions.
There is a super interesting question from Diltrish. He's wondering if you could check the WOL chart, Bitcoin volatility.
Oh, yeah.
And he would be interested in hearing your thoughts on whether you believe we are overdue for a breakout in volatility, or you believe this time is different with institutional investor participation, BTC as an asset maturing, and strategic reserve companies having a dampening effect of volatility. And he says thanks, and we should keep up the good work. Yeah,
nice.
Great comment.
So I mean, yeah, I think like institutional adoption per se, as in the institutions being more involved in the market, which is clearly obvious to this day, right? This has already dampened the quarterly yields, and we can see this on Velo data. It's going to load. Yes, this. All right, so this was previous all-time high, right? This is what it used to get to per minimum in a bull market, right? The last time it like spiked massively, right, was around much, which was, I mean, kind of crazy. And then obviously like ETFs and whatnot. But each time, right, this is obviously getting farmed massively. And more interestingly, especially now, since we're like basically, we've already made a new all-time high, but the basis remains like super low, right? And then if you go to like quite simply CME, you can see, you know, the open interest continues to actually grow like exponentially. It's like never been this high. Right, as well as like their basis isn't even that big, right? And then if you want to go deeper, look at, you know, companies like Athena and the amount of capital that they hold, as well as the amount of flows that go through Athena and their models, which encompasses like Bybit and Binance, et cetera, et cetera. These factors all have a massive impact on two things, right? Volatility and liquidity. And the better the like the tighter the spreads, the better the liquidity, the less volatility you get typically, because you get an efficient market essentially. And I mean, I've been surprised, like even the past few months when it came to a few sell-offs, the market was very organized with it. There was very little like slippage, especially with, you know, some dude just dumping like 50 to 100 mil into price, and it like barely any slippage. Previously, that would cause, you know, 25% like candle, but like now it's like 2%, or even less actually. And then I think they have default on, yeah. Yeah, like default just keeps crashing. Damn, it's actually at. Wait, can I overlay price? I think I can. So it's the lowest it's been since like the first high or low. That's insane. But I do think like historically anything below 40 has been a pretty good time to get into options. So like option flow probably from here is going to become even more significant. Like smart money as well will know this. So, you know, for example, if you think Bitcoin's going to go to 150K or something by like end of year, sizable like blocks around that or something similar would probably be kind of large hints in terms of what institutional money is positioning towards. In terms of like breakout and volatility, I think that's like, if we just, you know, broadly look at price, right? That would probably be where volatility for options to pick up again is like below yearly open or above 110 basically, because at that point you'd see, you know, FOMO positioning. But again, I think that'll get exploited, and what typically happens, right, is they farm the heck out of delta on like large positions, and then they play the volatility decay, which typically occurs after the market's prices in some kind of like a local high or local low, and then you see like massive vol compression, like since May. Yeah, so like we had like this tiny blip in May, right, to like say 50-ish, 49, 50-ish, and since then, it was basically just all back down. The 25 delta skew is like lifting. So that's usually a pretty good sign. Six months. This is probably going to get exploited. Oh, sold against. Yeah. To summarize though, I don't think like devol is the same as it used to be. Probably won't be. $400 mil, 300.
There were some pretty nice flows throughout the week. Yeah, let's keep in mind IBIT reports one day later, usually.
I wonder which one will go out. Maybe IBIT. Because there was some fairly significant selling from Coinbase around 108. We're almost at 50K, 50,000 Bitcoin. That's crazy. I did not mean to do that.
Like also pretty weird though that how when you look at from Monday, look at the chart. So again, the vast majority of the move happened on Monday. So usually again, like if you are just trading Monday, that's Monday or Tuesday, that can already be like pretty sufficient for your weekly profits, because ever since Monday close, we are just dancing in a 2K range. Yep.
Yeah. I saw a few people post about that actually. Like consistently the past month, every single Monday was basically the top.
Yes.
So it basically, high of the week was like lunch or something Monday, and then the rest of the week would basically just be chop. And then based on Thursday, Friday's kind of trend, depends if Monday becomes another top or not. So it's a repeating pattern essentially.
Yep. There are tons of patterns, good patterns to go deep and do thorough scenario analyses on.
Great.
Because these are obviously huge benefits for when you are trying to form your weekly or daily trading bias. I think these are pretty useful. I always like mark Monday's range to be a guide for the rest of the week.
I've kind of broken it up into 2-day periods. So I think the most important periods, like every single week, is basically Sunday to Monday. Then just essentially bullshit, and then Thursday and Friday. Like middle of the week is usually just BS unless something happens, like either CPI, PPI, FOMC, someone starts bombing someone. Like it has to be something big or something retarded that moves the market. This week it was Trump or Trump admin. Same thing really in this case. looking for a Fed replacement. That was the silent but big mover in terms of USD. Delta.
Yes. Oh yeah. So
Can you show me? Yeah, excellent, Cosmo. But I mean, even like the dollar just looks like ass. Like the fact we like gap lower too is, yeah, yikes. But then again, I think Trump actually wants a weaker dollar. He wants weak dollar, lower yields, somehow higher trade. What was it? Yes, like this was already known. I believe the quarter coming in at around 0.5%. Corporate profits, this was a big one, but expected. Then obviously prices ballooned. Durable goods was big too in terms of like month on month. It's up a shit ton. What was this one? Non-defense aircraft. So like basically parts. There's like massive front ordering again. So this tells me like the big dudes probably know some kind of tariff bullshit's going to happen again, and they're buying ahead of that. And then it hits like probably July, and then they have like another like fluff ego fights, you know, like China US probably, or Europe US, and then eventually, my guess, they realize it's stupid, and then they just agree to some kind of flat rate of like 10%, like globally. That's my like expectation.
I mean, but this data is like, I think, more significant than it was like going around in the media. So I think they're pretty much sleeping on it, because that's important here.
True, but also it's mainstream media. Mainstream media has no idea.
Yeah,
they won't
literally.
ever understand it too.
Literally. However, the other thing, Skew, before we move on here, and I know we have, I think later today, as I see correctly, Core PCE, right? Yeah, Core PCE coming in today later. But the other thing is like just let's look at the equities like all-time highs. When we look back, what happened on 9th of April, and which is back to all-time highs. I to be honest, it even caught me off guard, who's like keeping up with the market every day. I don't know what outsiders think and look at this, but I'm also like focusing on what Besant is going to say, because now we've had this 12-day war. As you said, probably some other things with tariffs are going to come in, but I think there's going to be some sort of change, either with the SLR or something coming from Besant, and maybe that's what they're trying to front run, because that could not be coincidence. So they're probably really betting heavily on like that printing is gonna come in some type of form, maybe in a hidden way, not said outright, but in some way, because that could not be just coincidence.
Yeah, you actually reminded me of this. So another big news piece, which went like completely dismissed by media. I'm not sure why. But they're relaxing a lot of the like GSC type banking policies, which I think essentially like the cause and effect would basically be more and more capital is basically now unlocked. So there'll be more capital in the system, more capital in the market. I think easier borrowing terms, something like that, which is like obviously very much needed for the US economy, but also that alone would cause the market to rip, I think.
Because they're going to need this to grow out the debt, right? The government debt. So it's just inevitable to me.
Yeah. Yeah, US reportedly plans / bank rules imposed. Yeah, so they're relaxing a ton of regulation around like capital rules, which is massive. I'm sure it's probably going to create one hell of a debt bomb. Like it'll probably progress the debt issue like even further within the US, I would say. But obviously, no one's going to give a shit about that now, because everyone's essentially focused around making the next million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, depending on the firm size. As well as like this should lift Euro quite a lot.
Yeah, still relentlessly.
Yeah, Euro looks good still.
Yeah, Euro does look good, but USD, nah.
Well, truth be said, fuck the US dollar.
I mean, it should be good for our crypto market, but I don't see the influence of weak USD.
I'll give you the quant take of this, right? So lower USD, right, obviously means better borrowing rates, more capital is basically free to move around. It's more cost-effective, efficient market, etc. Right? Or crypto, or really just Bitcoin in this case, probably. You'll get algorithms which are just correlated to everything, right? And quote unquote move the price higher, right? But the problem that I think Bitcoin faces at the moment is established and sustainable demand outside of the Bitcoin yield club, I will call it, which is Michael Saylor and his various other copycats. Like to put it simply, right? Retail isn't buying Bitcoin. They should be, but they're not. They're all focused on like buying whatever's popular in the trenches. And psychologically, this makes sense, especially with Zoomers, because Zoomers are attached to memes and trendy things.
Yeah, but in the other hand,
I think the dominance will represent it too.
I mean, the normies have been buying this.
Yeah, that's
that's part of the reason why coin is up. Is that the 4-hour high or something like that? What did I mark it as? Is that the week? Oh yeah, it's the week. Oh, that's huge, dude. If we close the week above 380, coin will do something stupid. That alone might actually lift the crypto market.
Yeah, that will go to all-time high, I think, from here. That's just a magnet from here, matter of time.
Yeah.
And if this gets attention, it could just start snowball effect.
That's how 2017 started. BTC pulled a full retard move, like it went up stupid amount. And then it was just consistently in the news, and people were like, oh, what's Bitcoin, right? So that could probably happen to coin. So people, go look up coin. Oh, it's Coinbase stock. Oh, they know what Coinbase is. And then they decide to buy the majors, which is Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. as well as coin. So that kind of flow and influence alone, I wouldn't be surprised if it lifts the market actually.
And by the way, just now looking at how much time we spent above 100K. So it was like 8th of May when we broke above 100K, and aside like two dips, right? I think it's 2 dips. Yeah, below 100K, we spent like almost 50 days. It's like 49 days ever since, like building value. But we talked about this last time, I recall, which is again like not something to neglect.
91 days here. Oh, no, really. I have to do it like super low time frame, or I have to like statistically do it, which I can't really be fucked to do. But yeah, I mean, like simply, I think what really matters mostly is structure here, right? We have our initial high, then we had like basically consistent lower highs. Now this high technically has broken above that one, right, which is key. Except the loss of like momentum here is like very clear, right? So essentially, what I want to see is like a respected range, which most often, I like to use a fixed profile. So in this case, we can basically see,
yeah, pretty clean.
So we're trading around the range high.
And yes, supply is just like really getting thicker with ask depth above 108. That's the just. So a lot of dudes are posting about 110 and like 100K range for the summer, which I would love to trade. I think that would be a dream, a complete dream to trade between these levels throughout the summer. But above 108, I just see too many resistance at the moment to think about. This might change if some these copycats come in and start or continue their relentless bid. But just need to play by level.
True that. I mean, the relentless bid obviously does change flow, at least for a few days. I mean, yeah, we have a super clean, I would say extremely clean value area to play, essentially here.
And yeah,
even obviously like the clearest point, the clearest like high is this one.
Yep.
Respected here, and then obviously in terms of the lows, it would be roughly like 101. But I don't think we really want to see it like a low below like 1035. Like, say if we got a deep pullback into that, you would still have like the valid trade essentially to targets 110.
I mean, throughout the week, if you just see now, it's even more clear in the 4-hour chart how much inefficiencies or gaps are left, right? So those tend to get
probably
tested or covered sooner or later. So that's something to keep an eye on, and especially how we've just touched 108 or the value area high like 5 times or 6 times. And still unable to break this. Usually, sometimes even like 3 attempts is enough to break back. So something must be going on here in the liquidity profile underneath. So it's definitely suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, we can see from here, like it's very heavy on top side. Like every single wick that filled, you have asks here, wick up, gets filled. and they just quote it again and again and again. That's what they're essentially doing. So someone's probably just trying to like obviously sell what they bought like a lot lower, but this is creating enough of an impact that it's representing 108K as like heavy supply, quote unquote.
I think you also posted about this in Container, right? Or maybe on X about like this is the first profit taking zone, and you know you've got every proof you need here about this.
I think X, yeah. Like it like initially it was somewhere around here, I think.
Yep. Yeah, true. And still is.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I want to have a look at alts because excluding, yeah, probably this. Damn, alts look pretty bad.
You switched charts? I think you got stuck on Kyoto. Yeah, okay, no, it's good.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like considering BTC's near all-time highs, right? And then this is the total excluding the majors and stablecoins. That's, I mean, like no one, no wonder a lot of people are in like pain, I suppose. Let's put it into clear contrast. Like alts haven't, in terms of like raw value or whatever, they haven't really changed compared to like 4 years ago. That's absurd. Yeah, I mean, we probably, like, just looking at this now, right? We probably don't get like a crazy alt season until total 3, yes. Or like the total altcoin market is valued above 700 billion. It does look like initially we probably front ran a trillion. Yeah, and then have a look at total. Like this looks like, you know, you're like first distribution range, second. And all while, you know, Bitcoin dominance just increases exponentially. It's actually quite crazy. Like this institutional yield chases draining the swamp of capital from crypto. Kind of insane. This 8 dominance is actually picking up for once. Eighth of May. This ain't half bad. I would say, yeah, keep a pretty close eye on ETH versus BTC. I think BTC breaking like 108, 110 area, but grinding higher and like dominance falling down as I'm going lower, right? ETH BTC could pick up again. But also no, like the argument faces a lot of contrast because of MicroStrategy and everyone chasing that same playbook. It obviously creates constant long-term yield and demand for Bitcoin. Yields as well are rebounding, which they probably will, but then they'll get smacked down, I think. Looks like you got a steepener as well with like the 10 to 30 year yields being higher versus the 2 year, which is not great. Interesting signals. Gold looks like go a lot lower. Yes, already considerably trying out trading.
What a week for ES, right? It's just up only.
Yeah. And then we nuked from when Sunday CME open happened. That was basically the bottom of risk, the high of oil.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Same for BTC. And I think you mentioned a couple months back of like how the weekly low gets put in around CME open, like basically end of Sunday or really early Monday, maybe the initial balance of Monday, and the top around the midweek. So, and we just had that
Something
this
like
week.
Guess we'll have to wait and see if we actually get any of that correlation bid or not. If not, I'm basically just going to chill and wait for, like, for me to look at longs. I want to see us trading back above 1075. I'm like not really dabbling with this kind of job.
Yeah, same view from me. I probably I'll go easy on trading today's session because I just don't see, I really need to see some debasement here. Otherwise, it's just, literally the worst chop. But it's not the worst because it's like a healthy consolidation here so far, until we hold like this 107, 106.5.
I think summer for me is just spot and chill, or maybe even selling some spot and chill. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Trading Horse or Flow Horse. I forget what he calls himself now, but he put out a pretty good tweet either today or the other day, which was basically like saying one of the biggest, and Honey as well made a similar tweet, but one of the biggest mistakes to have is not to have spot holdings, especially when it comes to kind of like low vol or very like choppy conditions in an uptrend. Like we're in an uptrend currently, right? But we're consolidating, just chopping around, right? A lot of people often make the mistake of offloading too early and then having to seek exposure through leverage, which gets accounts blown up typically.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with like trading mini versions throughout the summer. So it's just for me totally ideal.
That'd be nice, yeah. That'd be nice.
And can you go back to Kiyotaka real quick? Because I still see like unwinding of shorts from Binance. If you look at it,
Yeah,
it's still, but like it's crazy. So it's quite a big position being offloaded here.
yeah. I mean, it was
Precession, of course. Let's note that too.
it was this retard. I don't like what were they trying to achieve by just market shorting?
Exactly, yeah, because that was
Like,
not
it's
a
fine.
that was not a nice short. That was just literal
No.
market sell.
Yeah, I mean the average is probably around here, so they're closing at like a slight profit.
Oh my god, yeah.
But also keep in mind, like this bounce was literally them closing as well. It's like 2 super liquid candles, 1 ape.
Yeah. And if you know the lover of order blocks, so there is a 5-minute order block pre-break down. We just got wicked, and we immediately that's when when it fell back to the 1 hour 50 EMA. So that was a pretty nice technical trade. That was a nice move. Not a big move, but
Yes.
for intraday, perfect.
I actually got an interesting question during the week. This reminds me. Like a lot of people kind of pivot between different trading strategies instead of like kind of combining them in a way which provides clear, concise trade arguments, like a trade thesis. So when it comes to like ICT, right? It's like order blocks. Yeah, I appreciate like primarily like FVG and order blocks. You combine them with like key opens, liquidity levels, and then throw in like a little bit of systematic indicators, which is like RSI, Stotch, RSI, and a few EMAs. Like this alone is extremely strong. It gives you confirmation of a systematic trend, right? Also gives you the key areas where the market respects and trades. Like an order block, they basically trade it as like a pivotal area, right? So if the market accepts around that, you can trend higher. If it doesn't, it's a point of rejection typically. And then obviously the same with FPGs, which also tend to line up with like areas of market liquidity.
Yeah, my addition here is just it's good to have like multiple playbooks in your pocket, because
definitely.
personally, I not every time, but like when you got inefficient moves, like targeting some order blocks or FAGs, it's extremely profitable. But it's really need to you really need to plan this out when this is applicable. Otherwise, I think like the initial balance brackets or the opening ranges, like 15, 30, 1 hour brackets to have those as guidance. That's much more stable on a daily basis, I believe, because those are getting respected much more often with the bands. The other thing I'm now really applying to my playbook is when is the highest likelihood of algos bidding certain bands, because that's you just cannot really avoid that.
True. Also in the past week, when the market's basically flat here, but you see a bit of a breadth between like layer ones and memes. So memes have not performed great in these conditions, which is understandable. But layer ones is interesting. So people basically see like legit protocols and products and whatnot, as well as like actual assets, as somewhat temporary relief from, say a 20% or 15% decline, which or even more that you get in your like meme or AI coin, opposed to holding like Bitcoin. Yeah, like BTC up 4%. The rest neutral.
It's all about BTC, I guess.
I mean, yeah, long term, you probably find that Bitcoin just becomes like the Dow Jones of crypto. Let's see, AI meme. Yo, Dal.
Yes, sir.
What is AIC?
AIC?
Yeah.
The with T in the end? Oh,
No.
this one, I have no idea. I think I've seen it yesterday, but not sure. I know T
It's up
beer, sure.
fucking 70%.
Yeah, I think it's a new launch though.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's something new. But I need to check. I will drop a message in Cantina later about that. Like from AI meta, there is one token, in my opinion, that it's worth carrying the risk. I already mentioned it last week, and in the Cantina.
Yeah. Have you tried that product yet?
I haven't. I haven't. I'm I'm away from my main desktop, so I'm just speedrunning on my laptop.
Yeah. That's kind of rough.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks, and it's week and a half more, and then I'm back.
Not too bad.
Yes.
There are a few things that are up about the same as BTC, which is interesting.
Hype, Coin, useless. What else was mentioned in Cantina?
Yeah, useless was a new one.
Yeah, useless.
Those big. Was it big or was it?
Aave. I think Aave is performing quite okay ish. It's not stronger than BTC, but yeah.
It's the strongest alt by this shop for sure. Well, not the strongest probably hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from like last stream. Nice.
Yeah, the lady from the buff posting on X was the top signal, $45. She literally posted that at 45.
Oh yeah, well, this reminds me. So I was playing around with Coin Glass Legend a little bit. Just using like the order book data. To go high. Should give me it. The only time we had like negative delta ask depth, decent asks on the book was 44 to 45. And then like before it was like consistently green basically. Unless you had like blocks like that, which is just boosts anyway. But like here, someone's been farming this range, probably for trading rewards. And you can see it as well with like the liquidity ratio remaining like pretty stable, pretty healthy. But yeah, I mean, I doubt there'll be like much fun until 39.40 on hype. Oh, it's global settings. That's annoying.
Do they already have a spot integration here, Skew? Have you checked that before? Because last time when I was here, it was only
I don't
puts.
think they have.
That's too bad. Or they do?
Oh wait, is this legit?
That would
Looks like it
be-
is.
Oh, no, that would be a nice improvement.
Yeah, it's different from the perps. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
And looks similarly to what I see on Kiyotaka. Nice. That's something I can find, because again, trading light is down again, so I really need to find an alternative. Just old habits die hard. I mean, I was using that for years, and my eyes is
yeah, everyone's
yeah. So it's so hard to switch, and honestly, I use it heavily for my execution. I mean the footprint part.
Yeah. The footprint's like pretty good. I would probably put it to like 1 to 3 as the settings. It seems most accurate though. Also, you can see here with like the delta and liquidity ratio, the depth. Like someone trying to protect this price. It's like 1 to 7 ish. But it's like so much ask liquidity above. We need like a central bank or something to start buying. That'll make the bags go up. So have you guys seen this? Like Pepe's basically almost retraced the entire move from May. I'm pretty sure this was just like bag holders selling, which reminds me a lot of the market 2019 when a lot of people held bags from 2018 and then they started dumping like mid to late 2019. So that's probably happening with memes, which means the more depressed it gets, the more I'll buy probably. Obviously, a select few. Yeah, Doge. Complete reset. That's crazy. Wait, what time is this out?
In like 15 minutes.
All right.
Shouldn't cause that big impact, I believe, but you never know.
We're from the quarterly prices were up quite a lot. That was the first quarter. This has basically been flat since like this. I would. I don't know, anything above like Feb would be kind of like alarm bells, but I doubt it. It's like, yeah, 0.1 to 0.3 is fine. the Michigan reports will probably be a little interesting. I remember when we got surprise data from that, the market shit itself for like no reason, essentially.
By the way, just circling back real quick to the weekend bombings, just to look back. It's always good to look back in hindsight what really happened during the weekend, because obviously crypto was sold for, we can say that, till like CME Open, while of course the bombing were conducted throughout the weekend where stocks are closed. So
Yeah.
there is they and actually they have pulled this out pretty nicely, right? Because I think it made like really the least impact you could ever imagine after such a big thing. But again, if you were looking at the oil prices and previous week throughout the week on how market reacted, it was always like priced in, I think, what was going to happen. So that's really telling to read these out from the market.
Yeah, I agree. I have a key tweet to show you. All right, you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
So this is pretty big. Industrial profit slump, largest since October. That's big, right? Essentially means all the efforts they made last year in terms of stimulating sales. Basically sales didn't work. And the weight of US tariffs is having a greater impact on China than it is the US. That's like massive. That's the kind of leverage that allows Trump to strong arm China into a deal, which I've seen some headlines around, like potential deal coming out today or tomorrow potentially.
Nice. Again, which is being reflected on equities, right?
Potentially. Last time we saw it, I think initially in the dollar and Bitcoin. I mean, BTC is not doing shit. It's sideways. It's like actually dead.
It's dead. It's just
Intraday movement on BTC since the last 2 days is like, I don't know, $400, $500.
a little bit more.
Yeah, dude, it's literally the same dude that's been moving the market here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like when I check the chart, it's either 107 200 or 107 500. But yeah,
Yeah,
probably
same.
like literally every time I check it, it's either one of these.
Yeah, but it's ideal for the big entities to reshuffle and reposition in this tight range without slippage. So and I could see some not unusually high volumes, but I saw some, as we talked about in the beginning of the stream, some activities in the background for repositioning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that. Just saying, like, for degens like me, it's pretty boring.
Well, for degens like me, it's opportunity.
Yeah, but you have some real skill instead of like chasing
Yeah.
has a hut or is without hut, but it's a chill one and has a house or has not one. Yeah.
I mean, the beauty is in compounding, right? So, and at least I do not really have to worry about when I log out. I just come back and see what do I see, and I can trade both directions. So that's what really put the burden down or took the pressure off of me, so I do not really have to worry. Of course, it's more time consuming because it needs like a significant amount of time to plan these, to execute these, sit like 5, 4, 8 hours in front of the screens for one single execution. But that's the beauty of the things.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing compounding in this market is stress.
Stress and liquidations.
Yeah, profits are temporary, but stress is compounding. Yeah.
Yo, you know what we need to do for stream actually is we need to get. I have VR headsets. Like you guys need to get one as well. And then what we can do is we can stream like order books in VR. That unironically would be hilarious.
That would
Like,
be
imagine
hilarious.
imagine
I
trying
mean,
to execute trades while fucking surfing an order book in VR.
So I like that.
I would like to see, like from VR perspective, my longs or shorts being liquidated. I think it
Oh,
would
yeah.
be like the BDSM content on our orange page. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Watching as you're getting fucked. Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. I forgot who did it. I think it might have been what's his face? The big MM guy. I forget his name all the time. Yeah, I can't remember his name right now, but he posted. That's where I got the idea from. He posted a while back, like a year ago. VR of, I think it was BTC's order book. It was basically trolling. Yeah. Anyway, so I brought up this since we're talking about it. Like the past month has basically been predominantly down during US and European hours. Primarily the war, right? And like stress around volatility and risk and yada yada yada, right? A good catalyst would be actually a trade deal between US and China. If that like comes out, you'll probably see that reverse for July, at least for like the first half. All right, we're getting algos that are buying ahead of data releases per usual.
Yep. It's algo's just being all going.
Pretty much.
Which is again like fully automated, like trading is going on here, because like the initial balance mid was just getting bid, and then the small spike from the daily open, which is also the daily open, by the way, the eBay mid or IB mid.
Oh, I can't still use it. Cool. I thought they were going to make this paid by now, but apparently not. It's apparently DeFi assets outperforming on the wake. Oh, yeah, Link had that like news thing. Uni. Wait, Maker? Yeah, Maker looks like it might be making a higher low. This would be like one asset to probably be long if Bitcoin is strong incoming hours. And obviously target that here. That was like I'd be keeping close on Link too. Because like Link could do a candle like that.
Three more minutes to go.
Yeah, I'll probably tap. I guess like the algos want this. They're both pricing it. It would have to be like really hot for the market to shit itself, I think.
Interesting that this like coordinated shorts closing was right before the core PC release. We'll see if this will give something direction.
I honestly thought it was just some like retarded whale.
Yeah, just took the opportunity to close out on a good average price. Yeah, could be.
You won't get our favorite shot out of the well. Black coin. Yeah, Falcon is unironically strong. Per usual. All right, it is 0-2. No surprise for that's personal income dropped. That fell below expectations, and spending. I'm not surprised. I posted in Cantina that the consumers were basically holding back in terms of spending and stuff like that. So, all right. Another month of this, it's pretty clear the higher prices are breaking the backs of consumers, which is massive. It basically will force, it's going to force cuts, in my opinion. And it will actually be political because, like, if they don't do it, like, the government faces a shitstorm from the voter base, which will not happen. Yeah, look, high prices, that makes sense. This is like worst case scenario for consumers. Yeah, like Trump admin really needs to get a trade deal going. Like, I think both now have the reasons to get a trade deal going, US and China.
And China as well, yeah, as you shown.
Yeah, it's a mutually assured destruction of each other's economy, basically. Yeah, we're nerking off. That makes sense. Higher prices and weak consumers.
Let me see how the equities futures react.
We're seeing shorts.
Yeah,
algo shorts on BTC.
I say I'm checking S&P as well in the meantime, and Q.
It might sweep, but it usually reverses later on.
You're also checking IBIT pre-market prices going to open around the range low of this consolidation.
Makes sense. It's funny, actually. What the fuck is this, dude?
What the hell?
Meal.
Wait. I have kind of a funny idea. What if, like, we steal a picture of one of these? Like, one of us is this one. One of us is this one. One of us is this one.
Let's just switch our profile pics.
This is the moment when with boys we always say if you are in, I'm in. So yeah. If you do it, I do it.
It's so bad.
Like they almost had 500 mil cash from VCs. That's incredible shit.
Whoever the intern is a genius for this one.
Yeah, I mean, intern is good. Like,
Sure, that's hilarious. All right, yeah, weak.
seems like we are out of the range. 200, 500 bucks.
Looks like belly move. That's good. Yields. What did you yields? Yeah, yields are nerking. Fuck, yo, these are some big moves actually.
I like this. I like this.
That's what a 50 basis point move. That's massive.
Damn.
Yields absolutely nerking because they know they have to cut. Everything's nerking.
Use
Yeah,
this
TLT
so
is
weak.
going on. Silver. Oh, this will all be delayed. Yeah. Hey, look, Dollar just got a little bit richer. Your euros up. Yeah.
It's
not-
at least something for us Europors.
I mean,
For
I have
real.
everything in USD. I have no euro. I have no other currency than USD.
All right, tell me when you go full euro again. I'll sell everything.
I mean, I really pray for like a bounce on USD because I need to go an off ramp to pay like my bills, my living expenses, and I think I'm down to like last 1.5k worth of euro and PLN. So hard times are coming.
Nah, bro. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna save up for the 5 million gold ticket to the USA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm moving back to my mom. Like that wait out the USD dump.
True.
Yeah. Nah, it's
Bro,
all
I'm
good.
actually surprised this currency is on.
10% dump on USD doesn't matter as much as my 90% dump on shitcoins.
True.
Well, this is a nice
Yeah.
structure here.
Whenever this occurs on my currency, which is FYI, like absolutely worthless. You know some funky shit's going on with the USD if this happens.
I know your shitty currency. I inherited something
dude,
from
it's
my grandpa from Australia, and
crap.
it's worth absolutely nothing after sharing it among 5 people.
I was trying to see when was the brightest days of the Australian dollar.
Unironically, when the US economy fell off a cliff.
Yeah, true.
This. See, we win when the burgers lose, apparently. that's the logic of this country. Yeah, in terms of like pricing, there's no other period at all that's the same. Maybe this. But like, even that's not even the same. That's like normal. What the fuck is this? Like what? What the
It looks like Soros still upping.
Soros. Yeah, Soros is trying to buy Australia. He probably would. Fucking Soros.
He's focused on the middle ground because the yeah. There is a farm in Australia which is size of Poland, and a guy has shitload of cows there and sheep.
Oh, that's probably in Northern Territory. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there once. It's huge.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
In a bar, I met a guy who drained the like sticks into Uluru, so people could climb on it. But now it's they taken them out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been probably
those
like a
sticks with
decade ago.
chains, so people could climb.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that when I was a kid. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this shot as well. What I should do is I can't remember if it was BTC or I'll do ETH as well. It was one of them that was like really correlated to
To tech.
okay. I guess ETH is only correlated on the downside. BTC is correlated on the upside. Okay. That's kind of a winning strategy. So if Nvidia is weak, short ETH. If Nvidia is strong, you long BTC.
Perfect pair trade.
Interesting. What's the market doing? Nothing. It doesn't look good, obviously. Shit. The dollar even get bid.
Yeah, especially on the hourly. The hourly looks like it's gonna just roll over anytime. Constant lower highs. It's just, yeah.
Bro, the dollar didn't even get bid. It's only up like on TLT. Yeah, TLT is the only thing that's up. Or was up. All right, well, I guess cue the 2 hours of chop before potentially traders bother trading it in the next, like, basically 10 a.m. More like 11 a.m. to like 1 p.m. East EDT. I think it's Eastern Daylight Time now. That's probably where like the real action will be.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. Almost 2 hours. Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can do something over the weekend. I have no plans for tomorrow, guys. So
Yeah, I'll be free. I'll be doing some work in the cantina. I actually added like kind of a funny thing today called, what is it?
I think I will run
top posts.
I think I will run a stream from Cannes, flying there on Sunday. Yeah, maybe there will be
from
something.
you're
Yeah,
going to ECC, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else
let's
posted about that. In the wait, was it that posted it in the cantina? I can make a post later, see how many people are going on.
Yeah, by the way, what were you going to say, Skew? Do you like want to create a top post or something?
Oh yeah, if you look on the cantina floor, top
Yeah,
posts,
I'm there.
I'll be like basically pinning like funny.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
Funny things. Can
you guys stop trading?
All right, let's wrap it up here. Thank you, guys, and see you next week.
All right.
Absolutely, and don't get liquidated.
And don't get chopped up.
True.
All right.
Yeah, enjoy the summer, guys.
Yeah, have some rest. All right, talk to you soon and meet up in the cantina later.
Yes, sir.